Yeah. Just hold up for a second.
Put that on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, for a second I thought that was mine.
It's not. It's somebody accidentally dropped their helmet.
If they would have the Harry Potter donuts there.
Just let them go till we got down there. We pull them up into the tip of the building, pull it sorted, and break it into smaller pieces.
Also too long. Yeah. Could have made it more succinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very long.
It was interesting.
We didn't even watch the whole thing.
No. They should have condensed it and made it
20 minutes.
snappier, yeah. 10 minutes even.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't see them.
No. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the people down there.
Are we going in this time?
Yeah. Yeah. Why, did you have problems with that? He's traveled, he's done so much in your life, I doubt this.
If we can swim with the sharks, we can.
Yeah.
Mama!
What is it? Tissue?
You gotta get a picture of that. Yeah, you gonna get one? Come on. Don't get started to freak out.
All right, so this should be the 12 o'clock only tour, yeah? Perfect. So just a couple of things before we head on down. We're going about 300 feet underground, so it's going to be a 5 to 10 minute ride down. Once we get down there, we do get out and walk around. It's going to be about a half-mile walk, so a quarter-mile in, quarter-mile out. We will be down there for about an hour, so get ready to get some good exercise. During that hour, there is no bathroom down there, and down there is not a bathroom. There's a reason for every rule. We don't need to think about that. Please keep your helmets on at all times. That means even as we're getting into the car throughout the duration of the tour and as we're getting out of the car. Also, it is a very cold, high 40s, low 50s down there at all times. So if you're somebody that gets cold easily, hopefully you brought a jacket. Do you guys have any questions for me? All right, please get your tickets out and ready. You're gonna flash the time to me as you go by so that I can see that it says noon. All right, here we go.
It's going to shrink.
You know, I found that the clothes that they get here does
Well, you want to go in here so you can do the
Yeah.
backwards thing?
I even have I even have. Fuck.
What?
I have Das Rheingold queued up on my phone for the mine when they go down into the mines.
You better not be playing that.
Why? Well, it's not. It's my audit. It's my phase version, so I don't have to worry about copyright.
Oh, you mean on that?
Yeah.
But we're not going to hear it on it.
Slowly.
Perfect.
Where do the people get off?
All right, please squeeze it nice and tight so we have room for everyone. The black squares and the corners are seats as well.
The what? Yeah.
You can keep your helmet on at all times. Back there. They squeeze it nice and tight so we can. Ah, there we go. There we go.
They're gonna bring that dog.
100 miles an hour.
I hope the dog doesn't bring that.
Thank you for that thought.
You could listen.
If you're alive.
All right, watch your elbows, please. All right.
Do we come back up in this?
26 going down.
Okay, 26 going down.
I can't find the music. Listen to all the running water.
Yeah. Cool. Dang.
Yeah, it curves to the left. Actually, that would be the right if you're going down. That's ancient. Look at that.
All right, in just a moment, I'm going to be letting you guys out row by row. As I do, you're going to start to notice some yellow arrows on the ground. Now, those yellow arrows are going to lead you to a sign that says, your tour starts here. Surprisingly, your tour will start there. So if you guys can wait for me at that sign, that would be great. Please don't leave behind any personal items or small children. They will be put to work.
Не бойся. Especially also.
They said you had to stay more.
Well, if you leave them behind, yeah, they do.
It's pretty chilly.
They said.
I know. It's just cool. It's really interesting just to feel the huge temperature change.
Это вот.
I have no service.
No, as long as we can take pictures.
That up there. I see something running.
Just leave it.
What, you thought they would have a cell tower down here?
Should take pictures.
Еще раз, да?
Yeah, it says build a Walmart down here. Have a big parking lot.
Awesome. On you to five. You to five.
Have it set, maybe I didn't have it set right on the camera. Very often.
Okay, wait, huh?
My sunglasses are still on.
Let's drop something.
Alright. Okie dokies.
Where do you stay?
You're probably going to have that light off because it's going to be shining in my eyes the whole time.
Okay.
Thank
that's
you
fine.
so much. Appreciate you.
Give me a second.
Oh, take your time.
Come on.
Right, Matt, go.
No, I forgot I have to hold the button down. Oh!
Thank you for testing our helmet for quality assurance.
I've already done that twice. I'm so.
Well, they work good then.
Yeah.
Please don't fall. Okay?
What?
Please don't fall.
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Oh, look at this. You can sit on the little
Don't worry about me.
black parts if you want. Wow, just look at those posts.
Счастье иди в гости. Сказки. Добро пожаловать. Это 在他面。
It's more well lit than I thought.
这里我是不够。 环境你不够线。
All right, those of you in the back, feel free to move up, make rows, whatever you need to do to best see and hear. You guys can move closer. Don't worry, I got all my rabies shots. I didn't get my rabies. All right, hi everyone. Welcome to Lackawanna Coal Mine Tours. My name is Deanna, and I'm going to be your guide for today. So what you guys did was come down this 190 slope here into the Clark bed. We are currently at the bottom or foot of the Clark bed. Now this is one of 7 mineable veins of coal down here. That means there's exactly 3 above us and 3 below. Each is separated by a layer of stone. So a lot of times when people first come into these mines, they tend to think that this is what's holding up the roof. Absolutely not. That'd be like a toothpick trying to hold up an elephant. It's just not gonna happen. So then what are these? These are what's known as timber or props. These are actually a warning system for the miners. So if there's gonna be a squeeze, any kind of shifting or movement in the roof, these begin to pop, crack, make all kinds of noise, and then visibly warp so the miners would know it was time to get out. They say the timber is talking, miners are walking. So if you guys hear any kind of weird popping, cracking sound, no, I'm just kidding. So if this isn't what's holding up the roof, what is? This mine is actually held together through a series of pillars and chambers known as ruin pillar mining. So up here, this is an above view of that 190 slope we just came down in. What you're currently standing in is what's known as the gangway. That's just this large open area they're going to be pulling most of the carts back and forth through. Then on either side of your chambers, those are the largest areas you're pulling your coal out from. Also where the room and pillar mining comes from. And then every single one of these black rectangles are massive, usually 60 by 40 pillars of coal that are left in. So it's actually the coal itself that's holding up the roof. Now in this kind of mining, you need to leave in more coal than you can actually take out. But since this runs underneath all of Scranton, depending on how you feel about Scranton, very important we keep it supported. I see a lot of you are not from the area then. So another thing you might have noticed was that loud rushing water as we came down. Some people think that that's because it's been raining. And yes, rain can contribute to more water, but even on the driest day of the year, there's still going to be that massive amount of water coming in. Because as you can see from this chart, the majority of this mine is under the natural water level. So what that means is with all of that water just naturally seeping, permeating through the earth directly into this mine, well, it would eventually fill up to here. We'd have to do the rest of the tour with scuba gear, which we cannot afford. So when this mine was first operational, there would have been massive pumps to just pump that water out 24/7. Now that's a very expensive, very involved process, so we no longer handle it that way. What we do instead is we siphon or guide all of that water down into these 2 beds below, which we no longer have access to, and then they let out through a 42-inch borehole somewhere over in Old Forge. I think it's near Pagnotti Park, if you ever want to check it out. That lets all that water out into the Lackawanna, flows into the Susquehanna, makes its way all the way to the Chesapeake Bay, where unfortunately we are still a source of pollution for them. Unless you're from Chesapeake Bay, in which case we filtered it thoroughly. So this mine first opened in 1860, ran until 1965, so a little bit over 100 years, where after it closed down, reopened as the tour mine that you see today. But what you're going to be experiencing is only about 1% of what this mine originally was. It was part of a much larger mine known as the Continental Mine. Would have gone several miles in either direction, absolutely massive. For its time, you could walk completely underground from Scranton straight through Nanticoke, but I am way too tired for that. So if you guys are cool with it, we'll just kind of like stick to where the tour is. Yeah?
Yeah.
Ah, perfect. All right, any questions, comments, concerns about any of that so far?
That's good.
All right, so just a couple of things to go over really quickly. Once again, please keep your helmets on at all times. Also, with all of this runoff water constantly coming through, it can make the boards a little bit wet, a little bit slippery. So please mind your footing, and you don't want to be walking on those rails because they are extremely old and rusted. I love how you all coordinatedly look down. So, Did you rehearse that? So also feel free to take as many pictures as you want. Just don't flash anybody in the eyes. Nobody likes that. No filming like the entirety of the tour. But other than that, go crazy. Take as many pictures as you want. And then most importantly, because this is a real mine, stay with the group at all times. That means keeping pace with one another. No wandering off. You would think I don't have to say that, but I really do. So, other than that, I need to be the head of the group, but let's go exploring.
Yeah, I just read, okay. I don't know.
All right, so over here, this is one of those chambers we talked about. Now this lower chamber would have been all solid coal before it was fully mined out. This is what's considered fully mined out. If you look to the very bottom, you can see what's known as a permanent air stopping. That's just this massive wall of cement and concrete that both keeps the breathable air in here with the tour where we need it, and keeps all of that water and people out. Now, if this wall was not here, this would go another 250 feet down into the next gangway of the next mineable vein below. So feel free to take a look down there. Just keep track of your helmets, because if it falls down there, I'm not going to get it. They don't pay me enough to tuck and roll.
Is that a chair? Yes.
All right, so this upper chamber would have also been solid coal. So this is a good depiction of what you'd be working with as a miner. Except he'd probably be standing on a little bit more runoff water, a little bit more jagged rock, having just been blasted out. For him, it feels like walking uphill of broken, slippery, wet dishes. And in those conditions, he still has to put up these massive timber or props for his own protection. Unfortunately, he's not going to make a cent for that work, so it was nicknamed dead work. Anything you didn't get paid for was referred to as dead work. What you were getting paid for instead is by the cartload. Now, as we're walking, once again, I ask that you guys be very mindful of these rails, because these actually are the original rails when this mine was last operational. If you look closely, you can see they're heavily rusted and hammered for thorough use over the years. So what we're going to be passing in just a moment is what's known as a switch, also referred to as a frog, because if you look at it from this angle, it does resemble a frog. Now this is what you would use in order to switch your cart from track to change directions. Its secondary function is it likes to trip people, so be careful.
Oh, one of these. I have a question.
What's up?
What's the little green stuff growing out of the holes?
What green stuff coming?
Well, the hole back there that we looked down, there was this green stuff growing down from the ceiling.
Oh, it's probably mold and moss.
Oh, cool. I had a feeling it was, but
Yeah, we have mold and moss everywhere.
I heard we were in one of those like hidden cave things. They said they nicknamed them boogers.
All right, so another thing people often think of when they come into a mine is a mule pulling a cart. So this is what would have eventually replaced the mule. This is what's known as the electric mule, the electric locomotive, or the Loki for short. So the way it works is this large branch reaches up and clips onto that 277 volt bare copper wire that it's going to run off of. You probably don't want to lean on that though. So, yeah. So, bare copper wire, you see exactly where I'm going with this. So yes, a lot of this did have to change in order to make it usable as a tour mine for the public, as in none of these lights would actually be here. All you'd be working with, just a small flame lamp on your helmet, depending on what kind you had. You could have anywhere from, say, 1 to 10 birthday candles worth of vision. So it would have been extremely dark. Also, those boards were put in for you guys to walk on something more level. There would have been a lot of loose, jagged rock underneath your feet. You could be standing even up to your ankles in runoff water in certain areas, even with those pumps running. So what happens when you introduce a massive amount of open electricity into a dark, wet, slippery area?
Shocking
People
results.
tend to trip, and what's your first natural reaction when you trip? Exactly. You want to grab onto something. Was not uncommon at all for a miner to grab onto that 277-volt bare copper wire, and if they did, they're going to take down themselves and anyone standing in that water with them. But because this was faster, more efficient, able to pull more carts, basically make more money for the mine without needing the same care that a mule might, they're going to take that into consideration a lot more than the actual safety of their workers. Now coming over here, pardon, we have an old school flip phone. So, the interesting thing about this guy, it would still work today. The only reason it's not working, it's just not actually hooked up to anything. So it's gonna ring every single phone of the like that it's hooked up to throughout the mine. So if it's ringing every single phone, how do you know who you reached? The miners had to memorize the codes. So it might be, say, 1 ring for the fire boss, 2 for a specific area, 3 for Domino's Pizza. No, I'm just kidding. But this is an excellent way to get information quickly through the mines without worrying about somebody running through a blasting zone, gases, many of the other dangers down here. So feel free to check this out as you go by, but if you're going to, please be very gentle because it is authentic from the 40s. You gotta use your old-timey radio voice.
Yeah, see?
All right, as we come over here, ask that you stay on this side of the chute as we just go past this timber. So feel free to go right up to it, Ted, let it go itself. Just don't go past it.
Canary in a coal mine.
All right, so there's 2 main kinds of coal we still work with in the U.S. today. There's this anthracite. Everything in this mine is anthracite. That is the hardest type of coal. Burns extremely hot, bright blue flame, lasts a very long time. But unfortunately, because it's so hard, it's very difficult, dangerous, and expensive to mine. So we don't use it nearly as much as bituminous. That's a much softer coal. Because it's softer, it doesn't burn nearly as clean, but it's a lot cheaper, easier, and safer to mine. So we mostly still use that to power like large power plants, large ships, certain trains, that sort of thing. So this anthracite, though, used to power everything and heat every single home in America back in the day. So if you never had a chance to touch anthracite, now's your chance. Your hands will absolutely get a little dirty. It's very interesting because even though it is so hard, it's actually extraordinarily light for its size. Just be very careful because it can have small, sharp areas.
Oh,
Be very careful.
I thought that'd be heavier.
All right, so now that we know a little bit more about this coal, how are we going to get out of the walls? Some might think a pickaxe, and you could use a pickaxe, but that's only going to give you enough to maybe heat a home or two. The majority of your mining is going to be done with
Explosive.
dynamite, blasting. Now at this point in time, you didn't typically buy these sticks of dynamite. You're going to be buying the ingredients to make your own dynamite, meaning you're purchasing wax papers, blasting powders, and then you're going to bring it home. And a loving wife is going to help roll you some explosives because that's how you know you love. The wife makes you some bombs. If she doesn't love you, the wick's going to be real short. So now that we have our explosives made, we need to get them into these walls. So the first type of drill we'd be working with is one of these bad boys. This is what's known as a belly brace drill. This is a manual hand drill. So the way it works is you will pick your drill bit depending on how deep you needed to go into these walls. They were all extremely heavy. Ugh. Stay. You're gonna put it on this end. Take the flat portion, brace it against your stomach, put your whole weight into that wall, and then crank like so. Now, needless to say, very difficult, very arduous work. Now, a miner might have the papers that say legally you can do all this drilling, blasting, handling of explosives, but he might necessarily have the strength. Maybe it's a smaller guy, can't put the weight behind it. Maybe he's like me, tiny stubby arms. It's just not going to happen. Well, if that's the case, he has to hire a laborer to take care of that portion. That laborer's pay comes out of his own pocket. Also, the ingredients to make that dynamite, the drill bits once they break, anything else not provided by the mine, which was quite a many things, came out of his own pocket, paid back in their company store, where you can imagine the prices were extremely reasonable.
So what they called
So
scrib?
you might be wondering, well, why would anybody take a job where you're constantly paying back into the very company you're trying to make money from? The majority of people who came here were immigrants first coming to this country with absolutely nothing. Now, through working here, you immediately had a roof over your head via the company housing. You had access to food, water, clothing, all of the essentials you needed. Even if you had to go into debt to get them, you had them. And most importantly, you had a way to get a start and a way to raise a family, which is so important in a time that not everybody even has that.
That's real.
So, after we no longer work with those hand drills, because you saw how efficient they were. They eventually moved on to these air pump pneumatic drills. They just use a massive amount of pressurized air within those pipes to turn that drill bit, and that's still how it's handled today. That's going to be your modern anthracite coal drill. They got popularized by the 70s, and they never looked back. So now that we have our holes made, we're going to fill them full of dynamite as much as we can. Then we're gonna pack or tamp it in nice and tight. Put a bag of either sawdust or coal dust in front of it to keep that blasted. Otherwise, that dynamite could just shoot right back out and you won't get a thing. So it's very important to keep that blast in the wall. Then we're gonna fuse it up with our copper or electric wire. Get about 100 to 200 feet away, usually around 2 corners, because this stuff can jettison out of the wall at up to 60 miles per hour easily. Ricochet around 1 corner and hit you, but you're usually safe around 2. Then we're gonna hook it up to our blasting box, our plunger detonator. Oh, you already know how to use one of these, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good because I'm afraid of explosives. So
We've seen
if you
Wile E.
could-
Coyote.
Thank goodness, because this one's not Acme. You don't have to worry. So we have to warn everybody that we're gonna be blasting. So we're gonna yell in every direction so it echoes. Fire! 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 You wanna push that down for me? You guys saw that? That was my hands were here the whole time.
Your fault.
All right, so how many blasts was that?
5.
6.
7.
Wait, none of you were counting? You're all fired. We're going back up. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's actually 10. Yeah, you have to count every single one because if you put 10 in that wall and you don't hear 10 go off, you could be wandering back into something extremely dangerous. And what do you do if that's the case? Maybe only 9 went off. Well, you gotta go back to work eventually, right? So you're gonna wait 30 to 45 minutes, come back, locate the hole that didn't go off, call your ex over to check it out. No, I'm just kidding. But the real answer isn't much better. You're gonna grab a metal hook, give it a good shake, make sure it doesn't go off in front of your face, and then you're gonna use that hook to dig that dynamite back out. Because remember, if everything's coming out of your own pocket, if you can reuse that, you absolutely want to. But now that we've blasted out these walls, we have more issues. I know, more problems. Gases, natural gases clipped within these walls. Now that we've blasted them out, they're potentially free in the air. So there's 2 main gases we need to be concerned with. Lighter than air, hangs down on the roof, colorless, odorless, tasteless, methane gas, also nicknamed fire damp because it can create a massive explosion from just that tiny flame on your helmet. You happen to survive that, you still have to worry about carbon dioxide or black damp. Very heavy gas, and what it does is usher all of the oxygen out of the area until there's nothing left to breathe. So it's very important we know where these gases are. Enter our good friend, the Davy Safety Lab. Ooh. Thank you for placating me. Invented in 1815 by Sir Humphrey Davy of England. So the way this works is there's mesh copper up in the top in the bonnet. So if gases are present, they'll go in through that opening, get dissipated or diluted by all those layers of mesh copper, so only a tiny bit makes it to that flame, not enough to actually cause an explosion. So if you're lifting that up high, and you start seeing that flame growing really, really tall and burning bright, bright blue, you know there's probably methane in the area. Likewise, don't worry, I'm coming over there. If you couldn't see, in here, this is where your mesh copper is. In goes the gases, get dissipated or diluted, makes it to the bottom. If you put it on the ground and you see that flame get really, really tiny or even choke out, you know there's probably carbon dioxide. But this did have a little flaw. If you brought it down too fast, see how that flame kind of jumps? Well, if that flame's already really high from methane, you got scared, dropped it down too fast, that flame can jump up and out through that opening, still cause an explosion. So there were safer ways to detect gases. You guys know what I'm gonna say?
Canary?
Yeah, smart group. Canaries were excellent at detecting gases because they could breathe up to 200 times faster than we can. And whereas our lungs are only about 5% of our body, theirs are 15. So anything that's in the air is going to affect them way faster than it would affect us. Now, I know on TV they like to say you wait for your bird to die. Absolutely not. Now you have a dead bird. How's that going to help you? What? So what you actually want to do, just keep an eye on him while you're working. If he's jumping from perch to perch and suddenly starts missing, falling off his perch, acting a little drunk, a little wobbly, maybe he's just singing a real sad song, I don't know. Then you know you need to get you and your bird out of there immediately. Questions, comments, concerns?
Were the birds like pets? Did they have an affection for them, or were they just a tool?
Depended. You know, on person to person, they were considered safety equipment, but some people grew a real tight bond to them. So that was also similar to like with the rats. Some people really bonded with the rats, but on other accounts, they were just safety equipment. So rats kind of fell into the same category. Most of your animals did. But the mule, on the other hand, there was even a song written about the mules called "My Other Wife is a Mule." So they were very affectionate with the mules. Any other questions?
Mules are more important than the guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it says in the thing, it says like, well, you had guys were expendable, but the mules cost money.
Yep. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Did anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
If there is a gas leak, like how would that be resolved by the mine?
Okay, now this is crazy to me. Like, so when this was first operational, a lot of times, I don't know if you know that like game that you used to play in gym class where you take the parachute with your buddies and you go, wee! You're gonna grab a flame resistant canvas fabric with you and your buddies and you're gonna go, wee! And try to dissipate it. And if we're near an opening, we're gonna go side to side and try to guide it to an opening. Now, if it's a non-flammable gas, they did have furnaces down here to kind of circulate the air, so the heat down here will naturally circulate the air out. So you would also kind of crank that up a little bit. So it was not the safest thing to get rid of it. And then there was also steam-powered fans, which was your safest. And nowadays it's just electricity. So if we have any gases down here, crank it up and you're good to go. I know, right? Wild. All right, so I need to get to the front of the group. You guys are all taller than me. Yeah. So we're gonna beep, 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 beep.
Where are these doors that they said that was, oh, because on 3 where the boys had to...
Oh, we're gonna get to that. We will get there, don't you worry. Oh, that light's very bright. What? No, not at all. Just think, if you died, the last place you'd want to go back to is work. Come on now.
Look, someone wrote help.
All right, so as we're walking, I ask that you guys be very mindful of this switch, aka the frog, as you go by. It's claimed many an ankle. And here's where the Wendigo and mole people sleep at night. Yeah, don't touch it. They'll get your scent and they'll find you later. It's a real coal mine lore. You know what our state cryptid is? It's called the swamp.
Oh.
Look it up. It's like a wrinkly shape that's really, really sad. So you can actually locate it and find it by following its tears. It's really sad because he's so ugly.
Wow,
All right, now as we're going down here, very low rock top. If you're taller than me, which is not a big feat, please duck. We're good. Just don't be filming all the time, remember?
Is that a coal mining kid, that statue?
Yep. Just don't be filming all the time because other people might not want to be in. And also people trip when they're filming. There's a lot of reasons why.
I just filmed her pretending to trip.
What?
I filmed her pretending to trip.
That's fine. Just not like the whole, you know. All right, so I'm gonna wait for everybody to kind of catch up.
It's a child that yearned for the mines.
That's pretty impressive. You got mushrooms growing.
Oh yeah, no, this is the perfect environment for mushrooms.
Oh my gosh.
You have to think, so I found out recently that Pennsylvania is like the capital for mushrooms in the US. Yeah, I didn't know about that until recently. And apparently a lot of them are grown in caves, caverns, and abandoned mines. So this is like the environment for these guys. If you look around, you'll see them everywhere. Like even here, see there's mushrooms starting over here. Just as quickly as we get them, we get rid of them. And that's also why we have to have a heater under the mule, otherwise he'd only be usable around Halloween. So over here we have what's known as a mule boy or mule driver. He's gonna be anywhere between 11 to 17 years old. Now at that age, it's gonna be his responsibility to take care of the mule. Now this is not a mule, this is a donkey. They absolutely use donkeys, just not nearly as much as mules, which would have been a cross between a horse and a donkey. So it'd be twice as big, extremely muscular. muscular, powerful, high endurance, also immune to a lot more diseases than horses or donkeys would be individually, so that's why it was the animal of choice. It was a lot healthier and hardier. So some people look at this guy and think he can pull that entire full cart by himself. He's strong, he's not that strong. So if you guys notice, we're actually going slightly uphill as we go in this direction. So what he'll actually do is take the empty carts and fully pull them uphill and simply guide the full carts downhill working with gravity. Now since we're working with gravity, once again, not at all foolproof. This cart can potentially go out of control even on such a very slight slope. Now if that happens, this young boy is gonna hear the words, "Sprag the wheel!" Now if you look at his hand, all he's got is a large sharpened piece of wood known as a sprag stick. All he's got for light, small carbide lamp, 3 to 5 birthday candles worth of vision. So he hears, "Sprag the wheel!" and it was in near darkness. He's gotta run over to this cart and jam that stick into that wheel. Try to manually stop it. Now the torque alone could break a wrist. It wasn't very often that a mule boy or mule driver made it to his adult life with all of his fingers intact. And unfortunately, as far as the mine was concerned, it's a lot cheaper to send a bunch of kids in with sticks than it is to say, pay a blacksmith to design brakes, purchase them, have them all installed, when they had a seemingly limitless amount of children and sticks. And unfortunately, before child labor laws, that's how it was viewed. Questions, comments, I know there's concerns. I am wildly aware.
What is that spray bottle there?
That is anti-mold spray, because his nose is green a lot. You can see there's a lot of green, and if you look, the hooves have been replaced a couple times. So, yeah, thank goodness he doesn't know.
Oh dear.
Yep, so up here, this is just a natural fault that opened up within this mine. If you look up in the corner, you can see a very unique formation that appears to be 2 different kinds of rock that curl up in on themselves in a very unique way. They believed that hundreds of millions of years ago, this was a site that was 2 separate plates of land that collided, creating that upcurling motion. And that would make sense because this is debatably the largest anthracite coal basin in the world. And that amount of heat and pressure from such a massive collision is exactly what would create all this coal. Now unfortunately, even though it's a very beautiful area, very high risk of collapse. If you were caught in a collapse like this guy was, you have to do exactly what he's doing, wiggle your hands up through the debris until you feel air. Once you do, you're gonna keep moving those fingers, because if they see your hand but they don't see those fingers moving, they're gonna assume the worst and might not pull you out until the end of the day. So it's very important to keep those fingers moving. Nobody's fingers are moving. Oh no. Oh thank goodness. It can't be like last tour. I got somebody back. I mean what? Who said that? Alright, so we're going through another rock tunnel that's going to lead us out into another mineable vein of coal, the Dunmore one. Now that's a lot smaller than the other one we've looked at so far. If you look up, you'll notice a lot of pipes sticking out of the roof. Now those pipes are anywhere where that bare copper wire would have been running. Just the insulated clips, such as this one right here, were sawed off of most of them so people don't hit their heads. They still do, but we tried.
The corner office.
I'm just gonna wait for everybody to catch up.
I see the little markers for the people.
Those who were in the mine and those who are not in the mine.
I'll wait for everybody to get within shouting distance.
So did they actually just build this in to make it look nice?
But yeah, this is a lot nicer than they would have had.
Or are you just talking about a little cave in the side and that's where you sat?
Oh yeah, kinda, yeah. Just a little office, just a small office area. This one's definitely nicer than other ones. I'm just waiting for everybody to catch up.
Let's go.
All right, so over here, we have what's known as a pegboard shanty, another straightforward name because of the pegboard on this shanty. Now, all of the names on here are original miners that have actually worked here. So you would come down at the beginning of the day, find your name, take your peg, put it in the in post, then at the end of the day you'd put it in the out so they knew that you safely got out of the mine. If it wasn't in the out, it would be his job to figure out why. This is where the foreman, mine boss, or fire boss is going to be working for the day. He's going to have to do the exact same thing that our boss does every single morning, come in hours before anyone else and inspect every single inch of this area. So here, you probably notice like little teeny tiny chalkboards here and there. They have today's date, the initials of the foreman working for the day, and then the specific time that that specific area was checked. Now, unfortunately, this guy would not be as nice as our boss. He might have a bed for somebody to lay in if they got injured, maybe in an underground infirmary, but an injured person, not going to get out until the end of the day. He'll get out with everyone else, just sit out the rest of his shift, not get paid. Unfortunately, if you're sitting with an injury, it can get so much worse or even result in death. If someone were to pass, they handle it old school military style. Just take them out at the end of the day, leave them on the porch covered in a blanket. They don't want to have to deal with sad kids, crying wives. They just want that entire family out of their company housing immediately. Unless, of course, there's another young boy that can work down here. And that's how so many of the children ended up working in these mines. Not necessarily because they wanted to, but because it might have been the only way to keep a roof over your family's head. And it was a little bit more understood back then that if your father was too injured to work or happened to pass, you're the man of the house now. No matter how young you are, it's your responsibility to make sure your family's taken care of. And unfortunately, before child labor laws, that's how it was viewed. I'm gonna move you guys to the side. Please go to your left. To the left, to the left. Excuse me. Excuse me. To the left, to the left.
Over here.
To the left, to the left.
You guys stand left, my food stays in the middle.
Let them pass by peacefully and we're right on the way our man. Don't amalgamate with the other group. So, okay, they escaped, okay, good. It's like I'm missing so many people. All right, because I didn't get to ask at the previous area. What? What? Oh my gosh. Who are those guys? All right, so I didn't get to ask in the previous area. Were there any questions, comments, concerns?
So you said that back there on that board, it was actual people that worked here?
Yeah.
Some of them weren't signed out.
That's not my job to figure that out. I'm not the foreman. No, it's just for display. It's just for display. It's all good. If you look to the very bottom, the last person on there is Tom Soupy, and he was the last person to have this as a mine, and he also was the one that helped convert this into a tour mine. So,
Was he a tour guide?
I think he was just the foreman. He might have given tours. I'm sure he did on very busy days. Like even like with us when we're really busy, like the foreman will hop on and he'll be like, "All right, I guess we're doing this." So we do what we can. So, any other questions, comments, concerns? I know it's a really cheery tour, right? Glad you brought the whole family. All right, so You guys can feel free to go up as close as you want. As long as we're not climbing onto or into displays, we're good. All right, so over here we have what's known as a belly vein or a monkey vein. Belly vein means you're mostly working on your back and your stomach, and monkey vein means you can at least work crouched down on your knuckles, kind of like a chimp. Now, I would say this is more so a belly vein because I don't think full-grown men of that size really have enough space to fully crouch down. It's just not big enough. So a lot of people look at this scenario and tend to think, ooh, what do they do to get the boss mad? They get stuck working over there. But that's not actually true. A lot of miners prefer to work in these conditions because this is one of the safer places you could be working. So the main way you could get injured or even killed is going to be falling debris. And they didn't have nice helmets on like we do right now. So even if something fell from this height over here, you could get pretty injured. But if something fell from over here, probably going to be fine. Also remember, we're not getting paid to put up these timber or props. So the dead work is a lot easier as well when you're just working with these very small logs. Now what they're also working with is what's known as a shaker chute. These were excellent for these very long but squat veins because you can make this as long as you need it to be by adding panels such as this over here. Now once you have it the length you need it to be, shovel all your coal on top, and this massive spring on the side will actually vibrate all the panels and literally bounce the coal to the cart waiting below. So you're always trying to work with gravity, starting the gangway over lower elevation, drill and blast uphill, so you're bringing that coal down because this goes up about 400 feet. You don't want to be physically carrying coal up a length where even if I shine my light up here, you can't even see the end. You see that? No, you don't. I just told you don't. What happened? I gave you the answer. Bamboozle, too easy. All right, so you guys might have felt as we came over here, became a little bit cooler, a little bit breezier, right? Well, that's actually because we're by an airlock with a massive fan on the other end. You brought up the airlocks earlier, the doors. We're going to be talking about those right now. Beep, 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 beep. It works so well. All right, everybody in the hole. The hole within the hole. We're going in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yup. Yeah, he's vibing. So he's got to work.
Where was the mine that got infiltrated by the river?
Oh, that's the Knox mine.
Yeah.
So that's over in Piston. Yep, the Susquehanna just started pouring right in.
Oh.
And then they had to like, they were doing like not at all helpful stuff, like throwing carts in, trying to plug it up, and it's just not working. Thankfully, not as many people died during that as could have. They just kept mining closer and closer. Because they were like, we could go a little closer. Oh, we could go a little closer. And then eventually, like, yup. Or it got close enough to, you know, compromise it into a breach. Yep. Come on in, don't worry. They only walk around at night, you're fine. Who said that?
How do they know?
What?
How do they know?
Oh, because I'm a nighttime person. You know, if I'm back down, this guy's not here, I'm like, come on, man. Come on, back. We don't pay you 11 cents an hour to wander around. Come on now. All right, so over here, this is what's known as a little nipper. This is our youngest worker in the mine. Usually he's going to be anywhere between 7 to 10 years old, but they have been documented to be as young as 4. Now at that age, it's going to be his responsibility to work with those doors, and they wouldn't be that nice light sheet metal like you see over there. When he was working with them, that would be one giant massive slab of wood about the thickness of that metal frame to completely seal off that opening. So he's going to sit here with just his little kerosene lamp for light, 1 to 3 birthday candles worth of vision, and he's going to listen for the clickety clack of the tracks. When he hears it, he's going to run over to that door, hold it open, make sure the car gets through, then fully close it, then run over to the next door, hold it open again, make sure the car gets through, then fully close it again, and he's going to continue to do that for 10 to 12 hours. The same amount of time as a full-grown adult. But at his age, very easy for him to get tired, distracted, daydreaming, maybe he's goofing around on his iPad, I don't know. But if he's not paying attention, at this point the mules weren't brought out of the mines. So they go blind from being down here 24/7. They're not gonna stop just because he didn't get that door. They would come barreling through, break that door, him on the other side. Not uncommon for a little nipper to get terribly injured. If he happened to be okay after something like that, questionable if he has a job to come back to, because he wasn't doing it, he just got those doors broken and potentially that mule injured. And as we discussed earlier, the mule is of a much higher ranking than this young boy, because if he gets injured, they're like, no big deal, we'll just hire someone else. But if that mule gets injured, they have to purchase an entirely different animal. There's a loss or exchange of money, and that's all they really care about. Now on his lap, like you said, he is on lunch break. That is his lunch pail for the day. Usually they had aluminum lunch pails because it would both keep the food somewhat refrigerated and keep the rats out. There would be thousands and thousands of rats down here, but they loved them. They would constantly feed them so they'd stay down here because rats could save your life. Like we said, they were considered safety equipment. They could feel the vibrations in these walls faster than any of those posts are gonna start popping, and they could tell the difference between this natural runoff or too much water coming in from a collapse that happened so far down the line you don't even know about it. So if you saw a massive horde of rats heading out of your top speed, you did not ask questions. You just got right behind them and started squeaking. You're a rat now. You're getting out of there. Let the boss figure out what that's about. Questions, comments? I'm not even going to ask about concerns. We are way past that. All right, then we'll continue on. Onward and upward. We're going to go check out that fan we talked about. Beep, 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 beep. It works so well. All right. Onward and upward. So, did anyone get scared by those doors? So that's kind of how that airlock works. The moment we opened these closer doors, it released the airflow from this fan and was able to not only close but slam the other door shut from all the way over here. This is what a powerful pull this has. So this is our massive fan that pulls up 22,000 cubic feet of air per minute, more than enough to keep this all clean, breathable, circulated. This also functions as our secondary escape hatch. So if anything were to happen to that cart we came down in, yes, this did happen last year. So when the cart breaks down, if you go down the hill past the gift shop and stay to the right, you'll see something labeled as secondary hoist house or fan house. That's where this lets out. Above it is a pill-shaped capsule big enough to fit just a couple people. So what they did, lower that capsule down 250 feet. That's how deep we are. We communicate via these bells. You heard them at the very beginning of the tour, and you'll hear them at the very end. Just now you'll know what it means. So it's 1 for stop, 2 for up, 3 for down. Prepare yourself. I said prepare yourself, you were warned. Then I got in, they pulled me up that 250, and I threw down some pickaxes and said good luck. No, I'm just kidding. We went up just a couple at a time. I was the last one up to make sure everybody got up safely because I'm a good tour guide. So if anybody does want to check this out, you're welcome to. You absolutely would get wet, but you have to take off your helmet, hairnet. If you give it to somebody next to you, stand right here, look straight up. As long as it's bright enough outside, you'll still see the tiniest pinprick of the surface 250 feet above. It looks like a little star in the night sky. So going once. Go, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. The echo's nice.
All right. So, one at a time. The moment somebody comes down, then you can go up. So while they're checking it out, I'm going to explain a little bit further what that airlock does. So the reason we need those doors is because the majority of what we're breathing came down that 190 slope that we came down, and it wants to go to the most open areas and take the fastest route to get to these fans. So if we didn't have those doors to control the airflow, nothing would actually get pushed up into the smaller veins, such as the belly and monkey veins, and then people working in those areas could not breathe. So that little boy's job is making sure that the parts can get by, while people in the smaller areas can still breathe. Very important job. Can you see it?
All I saw was like a little bit of green.
Just a little bit of light. That's why it's not
That's the same way they got those doors. That's the same way they got those freezing here.
Yeah, this is like the exact same thing.
Next one, Lars.
You better hold on to that hat tight. Might have to go all the way in. There you go.
There's a lot of water.
Yeah, there is a lot of water. All right, did everyone go up that wanted to go up? We're good? All right, those of you who are cold and wet can rejoice. We're almost done.
The echo up that shaft was interesting. Like I would hear, like I would say something and I would hear like it bounce back a second
Yeah, I
later.
heard it. I heard it.
What is it? You have to stick the stick into the wheel?
Yep. Into that wheel. So it's rolling, so you try to take the pointed area and let it roll onto it, and hopefully that'll stop it, but usually it's not going to. So you have a bunch of them next to the cart so that you can just keep jamming them in until finally it stops. Because if that mule gets hit on your watch, it's out of your paycheck. So this is the kind of cart you'd be working with as a miner. Now in the corner is a little brass tag that either has letters, numbers, just some way to identify that this indeed is your cart. So when it reaches the surface, they know who did this work. Now this would not be considered a full cart by any stretch of the imagination. You have to do what's known as top it off, which means go much higher than the edge of your cart. How high? Boss is gonna come to the center of the cart, put his elbow here, make a fist. If this coal doesn't reach higher than his fist, it's not considered a full cart. You were considered a lazy worker and you could get docked pay for wasting their time and resources. Now that was one of many ways that they took advantage of the miners. Another way is they might look in there and say, hey buddy, we found stone. We're not paying you to pull out stone. There might not even be stone in here, but what are you gonna do? Before unionization, you complain a little too much? They're just gonna fire you, hire someone who's not gonna complain. And then they're gonna call every other mine in the area and say, hey, this guy, he's gonna come snooping for a job, don't hire him. He'll give you all sorts of issues. Then you might never be able to get a job in your field again. Maybe that's the only job you know how to do. And that's how this time became so violent so quickly, because without a legal way to fight for your general basic rights working an already very dangerous job, sometimes it was a little bit easier to get rid of the boss that's taking advantage of you. So usually, oh yeah, there were some crazy stories like mine bosses having committed suicide after shooting themselves in the back of the head a couple times. Now I'm no doctor, but so yeah, you did have to have, by the end of the day, 4 of these carts fully topped off, which will equal about 16 tons. So if you know that old song, 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. I owe my soul to the company store. That's all about coal mining, and now you know what it all means if you didn't before. Tennessee Ernie Ford, right? Yep. Oh, amazing singer. If any of you guys don't know it, absolutely look it up. He has a smooth baritone voice, not like my lady voice, you know, it's way better. So, it was like the coal mining theme song for the time. Really good song.
I have a question. So with the elbow thing, like,
yeah,
that must really suck if the guy's got really long arms.
Yeah.
Like if his arms like a sequoia, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's why it was so unreasonable. I mean, you hope you had somebody like me with tiny stubby arms.
So you also have to think that, okay, you can top it off, but you only have this much room, and not all of this is the same height. So at one point, I bet you they try to top it off, and then they'd have to back it up and even
move it back in, carry some over, yep. And also, you're not getting paid for this little piddly stuff. You only get paid for these really big pieces. This is just for display because this used to actually be topped off, but so many people kept taking from the cart that now it is no longer topped off. Yeah. I don't know what people do with it either. Like, what are you doing with that?
Like you're gonna burn it. That's crazy.
I know, right?
Nah, I got a coal burning fireplace down here.
Yeah, but that's not gonna be enough to do. What you gotta do.
What coal mine?
Yeah.
How many parts do they get out of this mine in a day?
It depended on how in demand and coal was at the time. So at its peak, you had about 500 people working down here, so that's 4 cars a piece, 16 tons. times 500 versus as it tapered out, you only had about 80 people working here. So it wildly fluctuated. So, over here, this is the last place that was mined out before this closed down in 1965. It mostly closed down due to lack of demand. They were switching over to natural oils, gases, softer coals. It was no longer really viable to keep these massive hard coal operations open anymore. So at this point, I want to ask, if you guys want, we can shut off the lights and let you see how dark it could become in the mine. You guys want that?
Yeah.
All right. Please shut off all cell phones. You can't take a picture of the darkness anyway. That's not a thing. Also, if you have a brighter glowing watch, cover it with your hand. Put it in your pocket. If you have a smile that lights up the room looking at you, get it out of here. Don't look around like it's not you. All right. So if you want the most authentic view, look over here. Otherwise, there will literally be a light at the end of the tunnel. All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, bloop. So as you can see, or rather not see, you can't even see. Well, you can see the red light going on and off. But other than that, you can't really see anything. So, Marco! Oh. That's how the miners would find their way back. No, I'm just kidding. So if I can grab your attention over here, this is about how much light you'd be working with as a miner when this was first operational, so not a lot. So how do you figure out what's coal and what's not? You're going to shine your light on the wall, and it's called black diamond for a reason. It's going to have a sparkle to it. Now this isn't as authentic just because it's been laying in the runoff water for so long, the coal's been kind of dulled down and the stone shined up. But when you first blast it out, it would be extremely apparent what's coal and what's not. You can still tell the difference. Look at how much more matte the stone is, even though it's the same color. So you have stone, coal, stone, coal. Not to be confused with cold stone, that's ice cream. All right, now if you guys can do me a favor, you're gonna put your foot on the rail and we're gonna try to follow. No, don't do that, don't do that. But that actually is what you would do if your light went out and you had no way to reignite it. You're putting your foot on that rail, try to follow it out. But you could follow it for miles in the wrong direction, even into a blasting zone, some gases. It was a very dangerous thing to do. So we're gonna take the safe way out with the nice lights on and the nice flat boards. Any questions before we head back?
Yeah. What would they do with the rocks? Obviously you're gonna get rock with your coal that you're blasting out. And they don't get paid for it, so what do? They just throw it off, they try to throw it off the side, or they...
Yeah, they just try to... It's going to be sorted when they get to the surface.
Okay.
So you try not to take it with you, just leave it behind. But you're not really going to be taking out stone. You're only going to be blasting out the coal and taking the coal. That's why some of the veins are so tiny, because you're not getting paid to take out that stone. You don't want to take it out. Also, mining stone is way more deadly than mining coal. So whereas you could get black lung when you're breathing in stone debris, it actually can eat away at your lungs. So a separate group of miners kind of handled making the rock tunnels and such. That was an entirely separate group of miners. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Sorry, my brain goes zippy zoomy, so I gotta make sure.
You try.
All right, any other questions before we head back?
Are there any active
Here with me.
mines today?
Yes, tons. So
I mean, in this area?
even up in Skill alone, there's like somewhere between 3 to 5.
Wow.
Now, the reason I say between 3 to 5 is some are in the process of closing down and others are in the process of reopening, but they're more mom and pop shop type deals. Virginia has a lot of coal too, Kentucky. So it's still pretty prevalent.
I'm from central Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of soft coal mines, but there's strip mines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's strips. There's not as much deep mining.
And then there's
either.
also that mine that is burning because they had.
Oh, it's Centralia.
Centralia!
Oh, yeah, Centralia is the one that's burning, yeah.
And I don't
It's still burning to this day.
Okay, just gonna pick.
And you can't walk in the area and you just see like this.
Yeah, the streets just open up.
The government forced most of the people out of Centralia, but there's still...
All right, what were you asking about Centralia? Was there a question about Centralia?
No, we were just talking about it.
You were,
Okay,
you were just saying that
What?
there were some spots, but there was.
Centralia is, I want to say like 45 minutes away. People can't go there anymore. There's still some people living there too, which is wild.
Well, you can't even like legit drive there. They closed off the roads. They put a
Yeah, and then
berm.
talk about parts of 80 that are going.
Oh yeah, 80s
sinkholes.
sinking into old mines. there being more of an echo down here.
There's an echo there.
Yeah. Oh wow, look at that. It freezes in the winter.
Yeah. Yeah, because you see here, it's much lower.
Yeah.
So like if you topped it off, per se, and you
Car would
thought,
come through and it would knock the coal off.
Yeah. She said they would have to like carry it over certain points, and I'm like,
I'm missing one. All right, you should be the caboose.
oh. So that's what that sound was.
Yeah, I heard that earlier. I thought, what was that?
Yeah, it was like the
Even more
woof.
concerned, so I was.
All right. If the last person out can please shut the door, that would be very helpful. Don't worry, we're going to be firing right in for you. Not doing the job.
Come home.
Sorry.
On a nice cold rainy day, it's a good happy day. Oh, yeah.
When am I ever gonna say I got to close the door? I had a question for her.
Anything I don't know, I research. I try to be as knowledgeable as I can. Under the circumstances. That's all you can do. Nobody knows everything about everything. It eats what it eats. Thank you, though. I really appreciate your kind words, honestly.
I have a question.
1 second. All right, my group, we're gonna go to the right this time. I know, I'm switching it up. To the right. And very low rock top. Please duck if you need to. Oh, wow. I got flash in the eye.
Huh? The dog's taking it better than I thought he would.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I would not bring my dog down here.
Well, it has to be a service animal.
Even if he was, I wouldn't.
All right, what was your question?
Okay, so back there was like a puddle that was like, had this very strong red color. Is that like iron?
Yeah, that's rust from, so the majority of this is sandstone with iron oxide running through it. So you can see streaks of rust coming through it.
That explains
here
it.
and there.
what's that?
The streaks, that
So
that
like,
puddle
all
was
the
rust.
orange you see, that's all rust. That's iron oxide. So this is all sandstone with iron oxide running through it.
I guess it's not the type of stone that would produce stalactites or
I'm gonna hold you up here. Actually, no. If you go by, I'll let you do it if you want to. If you go by where the tools are, you can see tons of stalactites.
Oh.
See the tools right over there? You can see. Here, guys. They're unloading over there. We're gonna go on a little field trip real quick. We're going to go on a little field trip real quick. All right.
Look at the mold on that
As
one.
long as it isn't knocking down, there should be, yeah. Over here, you can really see it. So in the very wet areas, we do start to get stalactites. This is slowly turning into a cave. See?
Oh.
See, look at that.
Oh, they're black. Cool.
Well, they're more of an orange. It's the iron oxide getting through it, so it's covered in rust. So yeah, we absolutely do get stalactites, just not as much as like a cave. Yeah, do some like there.
Interesting. Because usually you usually need like limestone and stuff, but it depends what the stone is in between.
Exactly. So
what is the stone in between?
Sandstone with iron oxide running through it.
Okay.
Hey, look, you can see it. You can see it like making stalactite and stalagmites.
Right. Stalag is from the ground and stalact is from the ceiling. That's how you can tell. C, ceiling, G, ground.
All right, guys.
Stalactite is
Stalactite
is from the ceiling.
because it has a C.
Stalagmite
Stalagmite
is from the ground.
because it's got a G. Don't trip
And then
on
when
that.
they eventually meet, it's a
Going
column.
down that area, so go on this side. You're not gonna be going down there. Yep, you're gonna be going up there, so let me just do the I'm gonna debrief you guys, alright? We're gonna do a little debriefing here. We're gonna take our briefs off. We're gonna do debriefing. That's terrible, don't laugh at that. That's on you at this point. Alright, so in just a moment, you guys are going to be going up this outgoing traffic ramp where you'll reach a nice, warm, heated room. Please do not go past that room because I do have to call up and make sure that they have the cart ready. It sounds like they do. So, once they have the cart ready, we'll load you guys up, but while you're in the room, you will see certificates. Feel free to take a certificate if you want one. If you don't want one, we are not forcing you, but it does certify you to be a minor, so you can go back tomorrow and work with me. It'd be great.
Oh, I didn't even notice the body up there.
All right, so other than that, I hope you guys had a great tour and learned a little bit.
Oh, look, there's stalagmites. There's stalagmites up there too.
Not a problem. What's up? What do you want? What do you want?
I thought we were scary. We didn't even play.
I worked at a hunt for 10 years. I work harder than that. Guys, where are you guys going? Okay. Let's just slide a little further back. Yeah, you guys kept going, went on an adventure. Probably go back to the side.
Hey, go back to where it says go back.
Yep, see, there's the side.
The doors are open. Bob said you could load.
All right, thank you so much.
All right. Shortcut.
Look, he's a wizard.
Oh, I'm still a limber at my age. Sort of. Everybody can get a look down here at the floor. This explains a little bit about the mine. We're in the old Continental Coal Company mine. They were a corporate mine. I think their headquarters were in New York. They were probably a subsidiary. Back in 1860, they built a shaft right down here through all these coal beds. One of these black mines is a mineable coal bed. And a lot of more other ones that are too thin to mine. They don't even show them. This is the depth of the coal bed. They knew by then they'd been mining this northern field of the coal region for about 50
you guys are going to be going
So they
down
knew that
this
the coal bed
ramp,
here-
and it's been very slanty. People have tripped. I don't want that to happen, so please take your certificate and take your time.
And then they got pretty far away, a couple miles away from the tunnel, they decided, aha, let's just go into side through what they call a slope here. Big tunnel down, which you just came down. When we get to the coal bed, you can go out this way through the coal bed where the travel so far.
Yeah.
Eventually they build the
You got this, I believe in you.
They started to coal. So we came down the gateway on that car. My car. We got to the right out, if you change the coal
Mom, did you get one?
Yes, I did have one for you.
Okay.
What's the job?
And I'm vertically challenged. Order it, okay.
You're gonna have more trouble than me, Dad.
Sure you're all right?
Every time I try to move, I keep hitting my head.
There's just a ceiling there. Yeah, but I can't get that enough. Use the ceiling to hold that on.
Watch your elbows, please. Watch your elbows, watch your knees.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Thank you. Look, I don't want to get grumbled at by my boss, okay? He gives me the grumbles otherwise. Watch your elbows, watch your knees.
Oh, yeah. Right here. Can you see him through here? Just a wall. Just a wall right there.
Problems, Dad.
Can you imagine back in the day?
Beautiful the dust and everything, right?
No way.
This thing?
How?
Oh, I gotta hold on to something, I'm gonna move.
Yep, I'm sliding too.
You push her off.
I'm sliding out of my seat. Oh no.
Yay! We're free!
Put the stick under the wheel.
Yeah, they do that. They do that. All right, I'm going home. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Okay.
Dad looking again?
I know it's hard to get out of these parts.
This is great.
You'd have been working for years already. You were
You probably couldn't see the go up thing. I was like,
Yeah, I know, right?
Nowadays. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because you're
Be free. Freedom!
Get my seat. Саша, сфотай вот этот крупным планом.
Что?
Вот этот крупным планом.
See the damage. How
These
bad
seats,
is
so
it?
that's why I sit
Holy
right there.
cow! What? Michael!
The last time it was in a crash. You got lucky.
Come on. It's so evil. Gosh, you guys.
You can't be doing that today. Oh man.